Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
So when I was working on Selena, the series for Netflix, to play the role of Abraham Quintanilla, I put on a specific amount of weight, which I was fine doing, but also realizing it could be difficult to get that weight off. I got back into my physical regimen with James Leha, but I was still having trouble with just those last amounts. And that's when I got to meet Arturo from Laredo Medical Weight Loss Clinic. And just the products that he gave me kind of put me over the edge. I feel great about myself.
I will stand with our teachers so they continue to get pay raises in our schools to make sure they are fully funded.
Higher education should be affordable.
A college education should not be a financial burden. Higher education and vocational training should be affordable.
I am Lázaro Garza, and I approve this message.
Back at you and Gloves Off. I'm Professor Buitron. I'm here with a great friend, a brother of mine in the martial arts, Guro Tim McFatridge, and we're going to touch base on what's going on with the self-defense world today and how people should take a look at it and what they should do about training. How we doing, brother? You doing good?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's everything in Waco?
Oh, it's good. I'm sorry. I'm sitting in my truck. I don't know how I have this grass background, but I'm sitting in my truck in the parking lot, so I apologize for that.
Well, anyway, how's everything?
It's good. Just working a lot, but dealing with all this rain.
Is it raining over there?
It stopped this morning, but we had a big storm last night. That's a storm that went through and did all that damage in Houston or Louisiana last night.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, you said it was hailing there, right?
It was hailing. It was an accident up ahead, and I was on my way over here to meet up with you here in today's Zoom, trying to see what we can do. There's a couple of things that are going on. One is, how do you see the self-defense world training going to now in comparison, since you and I, we've been around for a long time, as well as you have been around for a very long time. You've been teaching for a long time and been involved.
Did you just call me old?
Hey, we're the old farts.
Yeah, I know it. We are. That's scary. I don't know. My complaint with the whole self-defense world and all that, martial arts in general, is how it's always been. People charging an arm and a leg and not really teaching anything of value. I'm real big on scenario-based training.
Right.
Training techniques are great. Sparring is great, but I think you need to have a goal in mind when you do it. If you're doing it, if you're taking class just to work out and get in shape, to better fitness, that's one thing. If you're doing it because you really want to defend yourself, your family on the street, then I think you need to do scenario-based training. And I just don't see a lot of that going on with the schools and stuff out there.
You're correct. Scenario-based training has always been part of how you train, right? How you approach a fight, if it's a street fight or what have you not. And self-defense, American Kempo was one of the best ones for that. They had a scenario for each technique or each type of grab, each type of punch, each type of kick. And there's always a continuity to that type of training, which is based on the self-defense scenario and what happens off the spar. And then you have, of course, your fighting arts like boxing, savate, and stuff like that that are in the ring. They're combative sports, and they'll teach you what to do then. They drill you stuff over and over. And then, of course, you have your combatives. But in today's world, I've seen a lot of convoluted stuff together into some kind of mishmash that just, not that it doesn't make sense, but it's not practical for the real world. There's people out there. I don't want to make fun of everybody because I want everybody to make money, but there's people out there that really have never experienced a fight in the street, yet teaching others this is how it's going to be done. And that's where I cross the line. Or even in the ring, they're teaching people this is how you do in the ring, and they've never been in the ring in a fight, no amateur, more than professional, and that's when they can hurt people or get somebody hurt.
No, and I agree with that, and I see that too. I see a lot of people. You can be a good coach without having been a fighter. You can be a great fighter and not know how to coach, but it's very rare. Like Larry Hartzell told me one time, it's very rare to find someone who knows how to fight and knows how to coach to pass that on.
Right.
And I don't think there's enough of that out there. I'm a huge fan of mixed martial arts. I love mixed martial arts, but the one thing that I see a lot of, you have all these MMA schools or even fighters today, and you'll have a boxing coach, you'll have a striking coach, you'll have a wrestling coach, you'll have a BJJ coach, you have a Muay Thai coach, you have all this stuff, but you don't have that one person that can bring it all together for you, to go through the ranges. And I've talked to guys, I've done seminars, I've trained fighters and stuff, to where they're really good takedown defense. I guess a lot of people that I see, they just know enough of the different ranges to get by, but not enough to survive on the street. If that makes sense.
No, I agree with you. And I think you're correct. I think, how can I place it? There's differences in how you will teach, especially in the street. There's differences in how you will teach a police officer to escalate and de-escalate. And then there's a difference while you're going to teach a civilian how to escalate as well as de-escalate, and people are not teaching the de-escalation portion of it and in all aspect of it in respect to the word, but they're teaching people how to escalate it, but you can get into some serious trouble. I was talking to Lito Bonjoc the other day, which you know who he is. We're touching base. He goes, there was an incident where this kid, started doing some classes. All of a sudden, he pulls out a knife in a situation that didn't, and ends up getting stabbed because he did not know the fruition and didn't respect it, didn't know the respect of it, yet alone he got into a street altercation where he escalated it by pulling out the blade. And that happens a lot. And that type of, you training, you're so eager enough, you become so gung-ho, and they're not teaching you how to de-escalate in the street.
No. And it's funny. So Tim Tackett was out, Eric Paulson, I've trained with him for a long time. He does his annual training camps. He had Tim Tackett out there. Tim Tackett did a session he called verbal jiu-jitsu. And it was all about de-escalating it. If somebody's looking at, hey, what do you like? That's a really nice shirt. Where'd you get that shirt at? Let me buy you a beer. And the whole thing was about de-escalating, and nobody does that. I think the mindset is wrong. You have a lot of schools, they teach you, this guy's going to do this, and you do here. If he throws this punch, you do that. And it's all about fighting. Nobody teaches you, hey, run, walk, whatever. Avoid the fight first, especially if there's a weapon involved. Run. Live to fight another day. But people don't teach the de-escalation aspect of fighting, and that's the main problem. That's the main thing you should learn first. Have your techniques in your training. Learn how to kick somebody's ass, whatever. But nobody wins from a fight. I know I got in a confrontation years ago, 2009. A guy opened his truck door to pull out a roofing axe out of his truck because he was telling me and my brother he's going to kill us. As soon as he opened the truck and reached under, I grabbed him, tossed him to the ground. He tried to kick. I caught his ankle, broke his ankle, and I went from there straight to the police department, filed a report, let them know what happened. I still got the charge for physical assault with bodily injury. Had to pay the attorney fees and court costs to go get it dropped, dismissed, and they watched the TV and like, yeah, it's clearly self-defense because this guy pulled something out from under his seat. But
absolutely. And you know what? That scenario happens all the time. I'll tell guys here all this. If you're going to be a 30, 40-year-old power drinker, you're not going to be out there with liquid courage, trying to pick a fight, trying to act like a tough guy. You're not going to beat the ride. You also might get your ass kicked along the process and beat the ride. You're going to go inside. You're going to do a little fingerprint tap dance.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be either you have to pay a bail bondsman. You're going to have to pay an attorney to get you out. And situation happen. And you start seeing that happen, that's what's happening in the street. Even if it's self-defense, you're not going to beat the ride. You're going to go. And that's what's happening within the school departments. I just talked to a mom not so long ago that in the local school, the kid was being bullied and picked on and so on and so forth. And these bullies that don't even live in his neighborhood, but they ride the same bus, exited where he got off. They got in a fight with him. The kid turns around, gets a lucky shot, and one of them gave the other guy a black eye, and everybody ran. 2 days later, the kid that was being bullied, that defended himself, got the lucky punch, ends up getting arrested and going to juvie because the other kid's parents pressed charges. And so self-defense, especially in schools nowadays with kids, doesn't work. It doesn't exist. Both of you are going to juvenile, whether you get in a fight or not. And that is sad. That type of mentality we've had for a long time in the street. You get in a fight in the street, whether you defend yourself, they're going to say, you guys got in a fight, you guys fought, you guys are disturbing the peace, what have you, and they're going to take you both in. And that's a situation that we're in. But you're correct. The de-escalation part is something that we have to start reteaching and learn it. If you don't know it and you're a martial artist out there, go take some classes on de-escalation.
Yeah. I mean, it's well worth it. Yeah, it's well worth it, and you can train that in the school if you make. I mean, you have to make it a priority. The instructor, the school has to make that a priority. Or also, it's not all about fighting. It's funny. I think we've talked about it before. People that are legit know how to handle themselves. They don't go around and brag and talk about what they can do or how bad they are. Those are the ones you see doing everything they can to not fight, right? Those are the ones that understand it, that nobody really wins in a fight. You may beat the guy up, you may survive, but getting in a fight in the street's scary. You see videos all the time. Somebody gets knocked out, they fall and hit their head. This dude just died because he's got closed brain injury because he just fell on the pavement. The other thing that drives me crazy is how many videos do you see where somebody's getting head stomped and everybody's around just videoing with their phone? Nobody's calling 911. So you better learn how to de-escalate it and get out of there first and make fighting your last option. I'm all for standing up to bully that somebody's messing with you, take them out. But you have to understand what's involved, because nowadays with the mob mentality that we have in society, to where people are more concerned about posting a video of somebody getting beat up online so they can get clicks, it's not the same. So you have to be able to flip that switch. If you're going to fight and defend yourself in the street, you better be willing to die for it, because those other people are going to be willing to kill you just to video it. You see it all the time. I saw a video last night, 2 guys pull out a machete and they're fighting on the sidewalk. One guy uses his hand to block and his hand gets cut off. And after the fight's over, he just goes and casually picks up his hand and walks off. And it's like, it's just crazy. You better learn how to de-escalate the situation, to play nice with people if you have to. And if you can't get out of the fight, then by all means, fight.
Yep, you're absolutely correct, and I've seen that more and more. Like you said, every video clip comes in there. I mean, I grew up in a town where everybody was a tough guy and everybody wanted to be a tough guy and everybody was going to beat you up if you went to the wrong neighborhood. And every neighborhood had a tough guy. And what happens is if you fell in the street here in Laredo, you learned real quick that you're going to get stopped. You're going to get shoe shined real quick. And so I learned just being raised in this town. And you see people teaching people that the first thing you do is take them to the ground in the street. No, buddy. I don't care if it's the valet from the parking lot across the street. Once a frenzy starts, that valet is going to come over and give you a couple of kicks as well. And people, I'm being facetious about it, but you're going to get people that you don't even know were around kicking you. And that's the issue right now. And self-defense is, do you fear for your life? I need to stop that first. And if you do that, then you can move forward. Yeah, and it's like I said, that mob mentality just becomes a feeding frenzy. So you have to. Look, I'm all for ground fighting, grappling. I'm all for that, but not on the street. The last place I want to be on the street is on the ground. I'm not ever going to try to take somebody down on the ground, if I can avoid it. But I see that too. I see people, different schools of thought on that, where that's their background. That's what they train. Oh yeah, let's do this. You're just going to take them down and hit. No, because you never know who's with that person. And like you just said, you're going to be taking some boots to the head from people you didn't even know were around. And unfortunately, in our society today, nobody's going to step in to help you. They're just going to stand back and watch and video and, hey, stop that. Y'all stop. No, nobody's going to physically jump in and help you. So you're literally on your own. What's that saying? When seconds count, cops are minutes away. So you need to be prepared for whatever happens in the street, but you also need to be prepared to swallow some pride and walk away. Do what you can to walk away from it. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So the next question would be, what would you tell somebody that's looking for self-defense to start looking for in a school? What to look for in a school? I always tell people to check out the instructor's credentials. How long have they been training? What's their background? I don't really care about the association. I have a lot of people say, well, you need to check their association. You know how many times I've checked people's association because, they're a full instructor in this association. And then you find out that's an association that they created and awarded themselves the full, so it's like, I don't care about that. I always tell people, check out the environment. Look at the other students that are going there. What kind of students are they? Go up there in class. What kind of vibe are you getting from class? Make a surprise visit. What kind of vibe do you get from class? How does the instructor treat the students, treat its members? Are they respectful? How long have they been in the art? What's their background? That's the first. And then just sit down and talk to them and ask them questions. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that's what needs to be done. Every time I tell people, you come in here and look at class, you want to participate, come in here with an open mind and you do that all the time. And some people already have a preconceptual notion of what they want to look at, what they're expecting. And those individuals, regardless of what school it is, they already have an idea. This is what they're looking for. And it's until they find it, they're going to do that, or they expect everybody to be what they imagine it to be, and they never do martial arts. That's the one of two ways. And then you get the guys that really want to come in there and really want to learn. And then they will. Then you have the guys that are looking for competition. They want to fight in the ring. And right now, I don't, since I haven't had that for a while, I'll refer them out. You want to go boxing? Go to this boxing. If that's what you want to do, go there. Because you can't tell somebody, I do everything, and expect them to come in, and you're not ever going to take them to the ring, and then they'll get mad at you and they say whatever. So you be upfront with a person, sir. Yeah, and let them know if you're so many schools are so eager to have students because it's I gotta have this number of students. I need to make money.
let them know. If you're an instructor or school owner, let the people know, we're not really a competition school. We don't train fighters. We're not a fight school. Let them know that. I used to, I trained fighters, but I was very selective in who I took in, who I accepted. They had to commit to at least 1 full year of training before they would even ask me to put them in the ring with somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You did right.
And I had relationships with all the other schools locally to where if I had somebody come in looking for a specific thing, I would refer them to those people. I would call the person, call that school while I'm there and give them this, this potential student's name and info. And we did that all the time. I would refer certain people out. They'd refer certain people to me. But as a school owner, you can't try to be everything to everyone.
Correct.
There's just, most students aren't going to show up every single day. And it's hard enough to cover all the curriculum that we have from the different arts we've trained in. They would have to come to class 3-4 hours a day, 7 days a week to learn everything. So just as a school owner, be honest with the student, with the potential student. When you go into school, ask the instructor questions, ask what their lineage or, what their background is, what their philosophy is on self-defense, all that stuff. But then also as a school owner, ask that potential student, hey, what's your commitment level? Can you commit to me for this long? Because I require a contract. And the contract's not to make sure I get paid. I used to tell my people this. I have you sign a contract or an agreement with me. It's not to make sure I get paid every month. It's to make sure you show up every month. I want you to be as committed to this class and learning as I am committed to training. And once I started explaining that to people, I quit having issues of people going, well, I don't do contracts. You do contracts every day of your life, cell phone contracts, everything else. So it's just an education process on both parts.
Right.
But
absolutely. And that type of, how can I say, that type of attitude is the attitude that we need, and you have to be that way. And if you guys are out there doing if you have a martial arts school, the more power to you. We understand that rent is high. Right now, rent is tremendously. A lot of martial arts schools are closing because the rent doubled from 2020 to the present. A lot of schools died out. So a lot of the old schools that were around died out in during the 2020. And the new ones that ended up coming up were people that were enthusiastic about doing it. They're finding out that, wait a minute, now I have a $5,000 rent. Now I have to, not only the overhead is $7,000. How am I going to do it with 10 kids? So all of a sudden, they produce 30, 40 kids at an outrageous amount, and they have to turn everybody into a black belt from one day to the next. Or you know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, what's the fad in the martial? What's the fad in the martial arts? Oh, this is a fad. So that's what they start teaching. And we understand what you're trying to do, and we've seen that. You've been teaching for a long time, like me, and you see that happening. And fads come and go. The reality stays behind. You are a individual that has and continues to learn and continues to train and continues to move forward in learning capacity. And just like me, you're like, I'm similar in that sense. We're going to look out to better ourselves in that. And we're always learning. And I'm a professor that learns from his students, and people, if martial arts schools, it's a difficult vocation. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's people are going to look at the cheapest price. So right now, the cheapest price is going to be the one that's going to put the kids inside. So if you can handle that, that's going to be the best way. But in today's world, an average martial art class in the state of Texas is anywhere between $150 to $300. So if your price range is around there, that's where it's going to be at. But people still expect this to be $50 like it was in the 70s.
Yeah. That's what I paid with Seafood Keller when I first started, like $45 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good old days. But it's expensive. And then, I was looking at, there's a website I go to where I look at inflation and I look at the dollar. So you go in and you type in, $100 from 2020 is worth what in 2024? It's lost $25. So now whatever used to cost you $100 in 2020 now costs you $125 in 2024 because of inflation. Well, as a martial arts school, I mean, the cost of inflation kills us too, because rent goes up. Your dollar doesn't buy what it used to. So we have to increase our membership, our monthly tuition fees. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it's just, unfortunately, it's just a sign of the time. It's hard as school owners. You don't want to have to raise your tuition. I mean, we want to make as much as you can, but you also don't want to take advantage of the students because we know. So it's just, you got to find that balance. And I did stuff. I would do scholarships, what I called scholarships for people to where, hey, if you come in, if you sweep the mats before and after class, help me with the janitorial stuff, I'd give them a discount or let them go for free.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you have to be careful with that too.
And you have to. And then, we even did a program for the capoeira here that we taught 12 kids for free for many years. And some of those kids moved out of town. The parents lost a job. They couldn't come over here anymore. They couldn't drop them off. And we had a whole new slew, but the parents don't, if it's free, they really don't respect it. So you can be here one day and all 12 kids show up, and then it'll be another 6 months before you see all those 12 kids show up again, so, so that's just the way it is. So if scholarships, you can help out those in needs. Yes, I'm for that. But at the same time, they don't respect it, so it's and it's not that you're trying to make money. They just don't respect it, and they'll put the kid here, be here for free, and then they have all the son and all the young ladies, they're paying $200-300 for tap dancing and ballet, and you're like, I thought you all didn't have money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is the last year that we do it, because it's always done in the school year. There's the last school year that we ended. So it ends. We already graduated all those kids, and it's ending at the 31st. We're not going to handle it anymore, just because of the way it's act. Not the kids. The kids are beautiful, but they're kids, but the parents just act. I mean, I'm like, really? No wonder we have a problem.
I get it. I mean, that's why whenever I was teaching kids, I wouldn't allow the parents to be in the training area. They would have to sit outside where the kids couldn't hear them or anything, because that, it's hard to keep their attention as it is. But, speaking on that, it's all about providing value to them. But sometimes the struggle is getting the parents to respect your time on the mat with their kids.
Absolutely.
And the sad thing is, sometimes if you give somebody something for free, they take advantage of it, and they're like your worst students. Not so much the students, but the parents, getting them there and back, because you're giving it to them for free, and they're not out anything if they don't go to class, and
that's what happens. Yeah. And you ask them, you just do good grades, and we've had a lot of turnarounds. Last year we had 12, 9 of them were honor students. This year, out of the 12, we had 8 that are honor students. The other ones are so small that they can't. There's no honor roll at that age grade, but the rest of them are fine. But anyway, so folks, if you guys are out there looking for martial arts, looking for self-defense class, if you guys like what we said, like, share, comment, tell us where you're calling from or where you're talking from, and we'll get back with you on that. But Guro Tim has a lot of experience in the martial arts in the Waco area and in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so if you guys are looking for something, that's the person that I would recommend to go with. But so it's
and likewise if you're in and around Laredo also.
So give us a shout out to see what any questions we can answer, and we'll go forward with that. But the question was that's happening now is how to look for a self-defense program or self-defense class that's out there. And you made some interesting comments and some comments that are on point. So I want to thank you again for your time. And I know
yes,
that
sir, I appreciate it.
We'll touch base soon, and we'll see you guys soon. All right.
All right. Thanks, Professor.
Safe.
All right.
Bye.